Greetings, Wargamers, and gather around the fire as we tell you the tale of great heroism. A tale of how to make a campfire. What up, Wargamers? This is Jay from Encounter Wargaming, and I thought that would be a fun little intro for you guys. Today, we're going to be making some sweet little campfires, and for that, we're actually just going to be using these awesome little, battery-powered tea lights that you get at the dollar store or at any home decorating store. And we're basically just going to use some cork, toothpicks, actually not toothpicks, we're actually going to use pieces of a popsicle stick, but you can use toothpicks, you could use matchsticks, and then also just a little bit of cotton. And other than that, our normal terrain materials. So let's get into building these things. Alright, so we're going to start with our little tea light and just turn it on and make sure it works, make sure everything's cool. As you can see there, the on switch and the battery. Now I want to leave those exposed in the final product. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take this plastic shell, take my sculpting tool, you can use anything flat, and just pry it off. Pretty simple. Now make sure it still turns on, make sure all the electronics aren't messed up, and then we're actually going to keep this little flame tip sort of cap thing that they give us with it. Make sure to keep that aside. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and some cork and just start building up around it. I mean, nothing complicated really, it's just putting some glue on the edge. I'm going to build a nice little ring around the actual thing so that it's fully surrounded by the cork. And then just take my hot glue and start building on top. Now in this particular case I've decided to use 2 layers, so I got the one layer sort of covering the sides, of course leaving me space underneath for the switch and the battery plate. And then I'm just going to build another layer on top, almost fully covering the actual light itself, the plastic part at the bottom I should say, so that it sits pretty much right up against the tea light. And now I'm going to take that little cap and we're going to put it right back on top. Now the reason I want to do this is because at this point I'm just going to take little tiny pieces of cork and kind of create those large rocks that most people put around a fire pit, just to contain it, stop the flames from spreading to nearby brush and what have you. And the reason I put that little thing there, you'll see at this stage, because I'm going to take some PVA glue and of course cover the entire thing in glue and throw on my sand. And like I say, that little flame cap that came with it, because it fits perfectly over the LED, it just creates a nice little envelope, I guess, for lack of a better word, around it to prevent the glue from and the sand from actually getting onto the LED bulb itself. Yeah, so there you go. Bang off the extra sand, and voila, beautiful. So now we're just going to take just a cutoff I have from a toothpick. Like I said in the introduction, you can use matchsticks, you can use toothpicks, whatever you want to use. But with the popsicle stick, make sure you cut with your clippers with the grain, if that's clear to you. And that way the wood will just kind of splinter, because that's what we want here. We want various size splinters that will look like firewood, basically. And then I'm just taking them, I'm just shoving them into the cork all the way around. Again, this little cover that they gave us with the bulb does a great job of making sure those sticks keep a good distance from the LED itself, so that we have room to put our cotton in after, and so that it doesn't our paint jobs don't interfere with the LED. So now, just making sure that it's not permanently stuck on by our PVA glue, and make sure that little cap's not permanently stuck. And then we're just going to take our rust paint, like we do on every other terrain piece on this channel, starting with my satin espresso rust paint, and give the whole thing a nice good brown base coat, because that's going to be the foundation for all the colors that are going to be in this piece. Once that's dry, basically, once we have our espresso on there, I'm going to start with the dry brushing. We'll start by dry brushing the large stones, as I was talking about, with a nice gray tone. I shouldn't say dry brush, it's more of an overbrush. We want a really thick dry brush on these stones. And then I'm going to, like I do in all other terrain pieces, I'm going to take my yellow oxide, paint all the dirt areas with that nice sort of yellowy brown, and bring that espresso up another layer. And then we're going to paint the actual logs, the firewood itself, with a cinnamon brown, just to make it look like wood, give it a different color than the rest of the piece. And once that's dry, we're just going to dry brush it with a bone color. In this case, it's unbleached titanium.
The same thing I use in all my other terrain projects, and we're just going to do the entire piece. The whole thing is going to get painted with this bone color. And finally, just to cap the piece off, as far as the ground is concerned, we're going to throw on some static grass. So, as usual, take your PVA glue, paint over any of the areas you think where you got either the dry brush too heavy, or there's still like little pits and things like that around it. And just sprinkle your static grass on top. Static grass adds so much life to a piece, and it does such a great job of covering up all your mistakes. It's such an amazing thing. I love it. And it just adds realism to it. So now I'm just going to take some cotton, little cotton ball, standard stuff you would use for, you know, makeup removal or whatever, and rip it to pieces. Just pull it straight so that you get like that. If you see this piece here, it's just kind of a nice flame shape. So now I got to take off that cap that was protecting my LED and just cover my LED in a big glob of hot glue, and then stick your cotton on top. Now in this case, I'm just going to use the back end of a brush to sort of push the cotton in so that you don't see any of the hot glue coming out the sides. I want it to look like the flame is coming out from underneath the sticks. I don't want to actually be able to see the LED or the hot glue. And there you go, turn it on. Looks great. And there's just one final step that we have to do on this, and that's just to make that cotton look more like a fire. And the simplest way to do this is to get a nice sort of, I would say dry brush again, but it's not really a dry brush because you need a little bit more paint in your brush than you would normally dry brushing, because cotton is very dry, of course. So what I'm even doing here is I'm taking a little bit of black and putting it on my finger and just kind of twisting the end of the cotton to sort of give it that nice point. And then the paint will actually kind of hold it together and keep its shape. And so as you can see, I'm just fiddling around until I think it looks nice, and once I decide that it looks good, I'm going to call it done.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that fun little project. That was just a little something I have seen done 1,000 times all over social media, and I just thought to myself while I was working on other terrain projects, just thought, you know what, I'm going to throw one of these together just to see what happens. So I think it turned out pretty well, and I've actually made quite a few of them now. I've given you guys this video. It's totally free of charge, of course, to make your own. I want to show you guys how easy it is to make cool stuff like this. If you're a D&D geek, I'm sure you'll love it. So if you go to the description below, you can actually check out my Etsy store. If you're not so inclined as to make one of your own, you can buy one off me for a very small price. I'm willing to do the commissions. Also, please, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, because it doesn't cost you anything, and it goes a long way to help us here at Encounter Wargaming get up in the search engines and all that kind of stuff. Plus, it lets you know when our videos come out, which is wicked awesome, especially if you hit that little bell next to the subscribe. You'll know exactly when all our videos come out. By the way, guys, we give you this video content for free, but it's not free to us. We still got to build awesome terrain. We're constantly upgrading our miniatures collections and stuff like that so that we can bring you guys awesome content, as well as the equipment and etc., etc. So go to the description below, check out our Patreon page for simply $1 a video. Which is pocket change to you guys. You get a whole bunch more stuff. You get the Twitch streams after the fact. You get 10% off the warpainter.com, as well as many other perks for just being a patron. And so it's all down there on the page, so check that out. And otherwise, we'll see you at our next encounter.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay.
We are Encounter Wargaming.
And we wanted to celebrate hitting our 1,500 subscribers with giving some stuff away. What are we giving away, Adam?
Fort Bane! Yeah. Alright, we're calling this the 2,500 subscriber Forge Bane giveaway, because that's the target we need to hit to give this puppy away.
That's right. So the first thing you need to do is share this video, the video you are watching right now. And
then click subscribe on YouTube.
if you haven't already.
That's it for one entry.
And the more you share it, hopefully, the more people we can get to hit subscribe and hit that 2,500.
Woohoo!
But there are other ways to win as well.
Tell them about it.
Well, you can follow us on Twitch. That will also get you an entry. So you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. On top of that,
support us on Patreon for 5 big buckaroo entries.
Crazy. So also all the people that already support us on Patreon, don't worry, you're also 5 entries. But also, you can hit subscribe on Twitch. Subscribing on Twitch will get you another 5 entries into the contest.
So good, and all of this to say thank you guys for all the support. We appreciate it very much. We've come a long way, and it's because of you.
It's true. It's been a wild ride, and thanks for all the support, all the help, and we want to give you some cool stuff as a thank you.
Awesome. So hey, remember to share this video, and guys, I think that's it. So we'll see you at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.